Kevin is just sorting out all his ingredients here. We have this is the chive I was growing outside in the water. We have in the blender already.
Alright, they have some banana, allspice. They have some peppers underneath. If you think this isn't a lot of pepper, you're wrong because these are all ghost peppers. So this is gonna be hot.
I just hoping it's not too hot.
Oh well, we'll find out soon enough.
And the
Fresh
bandana.
thyme. If you have dry thyme, that'll work too. If you have dry thyme, use less because it's stronger than the fresh stuff. But we happen to have fresh, so we're gonna use that. And I don't like to use the strong,
hard stick.
yeah, the hard woody stems. I much prefer to peel them off.
Yeah.
If the stem is green and it's soft like this, it breaks apart, you could put that in there, but it's not the brown stuff. Okay, we got 2 bay leaf.
Can you all believe I had the bay leaf in the fridge for like 2 months and I used that trick from my
White
video.
onion. Some.
Nutmeg.
If you got the fresh stuff, grate the fresh stuff. I'm just lazy right now, so I'm gonna use some powdered. A little bit of cinnamon.
He moving real quick, boy.
This is the scallion that we had outside. It's already been washed. Like the main 2 ingredients, well 3 ingredients honestly for jerk is allspice, well the pimento berries, scallion, and pepper and hot pepper. Here you're gonna add some garlic. This is about 2 heads of garlic, but we got a lot of pork, so you know, and then you could always add more stuff depending on how much marinade you think you need, but this is mostly the dry ingredients. For the most part, if you're making a jerk marinade, honestly, you just need 3 things. You need pimento berry, you need pepper, and you need scallion. That's it. Just those 3 things.
And for any Trinbagonians watching, scallion is equivalent to what we call chive.
So now for liquids here, I got a little bit of lemon juice, so I'm gonna just add that. Some vinegar.
I guess you just eyeballing everything.
Yeah, I mean,
You already have the jerk sauce posted up.
soy sauce.
Ooh, that one is dark.
And then, as you can see, this is the liquid here. Now, with this amount of liquid, if I blend this is gonna be quite thick.
And that was some water.
So yeah, let's add some salt to this. Look at these beautiful pieces of pork. This has a little bit of fat here, so we're just gonna pull this off, throw this out. You know, most of this fat's gonna render on the grill, so you don't have to get rid of too much. These are the tip roast. I don't know exactly what part, but as you can see, most of the marbling is pretty lean. So luckily with jerk, we're gonna be cooking this indirect flame, so it's not gonna be getting cooked too quick. And then of course, you know, we'll try to keep it moist during the cooking process. So all I'm gonna do is I just want long, thick chunks, like about this. So we got 4 nice pieces out of that cut. Beautiful, thick. This is thick enough where it won't dry out on the grill. Also has enough surface area to give a good crust all the way around, so you're gonna get nice bark when this goes on the grill. This is what I'm using. Normally what I like to do is I like to just put a little bit of the dry stuff just to let it go on top of the meat. And then I usually would just let this sit on the counter like so, just for maybe half an hour, but we're running a little low on time here. So take the jerk marinade, I'm gonna pour like 2/3 of it.
No, 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 stop.
That's good, that's good. Right, so you're gonna keep, so what we keep back, that's gonna be for the jerk sauce after. And then this here.
That smells good.
Yeah, of course it smells
hot.
good. So this has all the ghost pepper in there.
Thanks to Auntie Molly for those peppers.
So, right, now that we have all the meat coated, these are gonna go into Ziploc bags and they're gonna go in the fridge overnight. And then tomorrow we're gonna throw these on the grill. God, it smells so good. Do you smell that?
Yeah.
So this is now we're gonna make the jerk marinade. This is the reserve marinade. This did not touch any meat. So this is what we have. This is about 2 cups of marinade here. We have 1 cup of ketchup, half cup of lemon juice, and we're gonna use some sugar, probably about 3 tablespoons of sugar.
He just added 1 tablespoon, 2 tablespoons, 3.
And this is just what I'm doing just because I don't want to add too much sugar, but if you want it sweeter after the sauce is done, go ahead and add more. You could even add honey. Honey would actually make it a little sticky, which might be nice, so you could definitely do that. If you know, it's not hot enough, but remember we use ghost peppers. If it's not hot enough, you could add more pepper. You could basically add anything you want to this. This is just a jerk marinade with a couple of things to make it like a barbecue sauce. Alright, so the sugar is melted now. So we're gonna add the jerk seasoning to it. Now for those of you that are probably wondering how come I melted the sugar first, is because when you add the sugar to the liquid, it's gonna take much longer, and if you don't cook it long enough, you're gonna end up with sugar crystals in the sauce. You don't want that. That's why I melted before. So we're just gonna let this, now we gotta cook this out. So I had this on a medium low. I'm gonna just send it up a little bit. Should we add more liquid to this?
Well, you have the lemon juice to add. I guess when you add the ketchup and stuff, you can gauge like how thick it is.
Oh, once the ketchup goes in here, it's gonna get thick.
Yeah, so maybe after you add the ketchup, add some hot water maybe. You could probably add some water to that bottle to get the excess seasoning out.
So now that it started to simmer, let's add this lemon juice and the ketchup.
So can they add like any type of citrus, or does it have to?
Yeah. I mean, normally what I like to add is pineapple juice. The next best option would be orange juice. However, we don't have any of those, so we're just going to use lemon. But any citrus is good. Some people may even add vinegar just to get that tanginess
Apple
in it.
cider or white?
White vinegar.
Okay.
I'm not sure about adding apple juice to this, but right. So let's mix it up. The ketchup is gonna also be act as a thickener to this. If you ever notice that your sauce is not enough and you add water, when you add water to it and it becomes too thin, but you want that quantity, what you're gonna need to do is you're gonna need to make a slurry with cornstarch and water, and then you just mix that together, pour it in here, and then you get a thicker sauce with a lot more. Rashmi doesn't really like cornstarch, but in situations
Only
where
in sauces, I don't like it.
yeah, I mean, in situations like this though, like see, right now this quantity of sauce is actually good for the amount of jerk we're doing. But I'm gonna let this cook a little bit more because I mean it's thicker enough as it is right now. The ketchup really worked quick, but we just let this cook, let the flavors homogenize a little bit more, and then we'll turn it off. Probably about another 5-10 minutes, 10 minutes most.
That looks good. This smells amazing, y'all. I wish you could smell this. I'm smelling the allspice or the pimento berries, as well as the ghost pepper he added. I feel like I'm in a sauna right now, a Jamaican sauna. So the sauce is ready, and he's just taken out some to put on the meat on the grill, and then he'll reserve the rest for when we're ready to eat the tacos.
Yeah, so the meat on the grill is actually done, but I want to put some of this barbecue sauce so it gets a nice color. These pieces of pork, these are boneless, and the I don't, when it comes to cooking on the grill, I am not a professional like Gordon Ramsay who could use his hands to figure out, So what I do, I use a thermopan, and right now these pieces of pork are at 150 plus. So that means they're fully cooked.
How long will they go?
I'm not sure exactly how long. Maybe about, I would say a little over an hour. But those coals are hot. There's a lot of coals in here. So, the thing with barbecuing meat that people need to be aware of is, if you go by what the FDA says, all your meat when you take it off the grill will be overcooked. If you guys watch, right, notice that the coals is on one side and the meat is on the other. This is how I always barbecue. When you go by people's house for barbecue, all the old time people, when you eat a piece of chicken or anything and it's tough, it's too hard to eat, that's because they cook the meat over the coals and it gets dried out. So if you don't want that to happen, you gotta first start with the meat on the side with no coals and cook it this way.
So this actually marinated overnight for about 12 hours. So it soaked up all that good jerk seasoning.
Right, so
this stays on the grill for how long?
this is gonna be on the grill maybe about an hour. We're gonna check it in half an hour, flip it, just to make sure it doesn't dry out. Alright, so the second set of jerk pork is finally done. And we're just gonna put these on this tray here to rest.
So you came in at like half an hour and you checked it, right?
So this is what I would tell people to do, right? When it comes to grilling jerk pork, I would say, look, after you put it on the grill, especially pieces this size.
They're doing some TikTok thing.
So I would say when you put pieces this size on the grill, and I would check this every half an hour. So about, you would check it maybe once. After half an hour you come, you flip it, and then after the second half an hour you'd come back and you test it with a thermopan, see what the temp is. And if you don't know what a thermopan is, this is what it is. So then you just stick it in the piece of meat, and then you check the temp. Once it hits to 145, 150, then I start to put the sauce on the meat, and then 3 minutes later flip it, put sauce on the other side, and then after another 3 minutes it comes off the grill.
So these are ready?
Yeah,
So
these are ready to go.
These just have to rest for a bit, and then I'll work on the stuff for the salsa, and I'll make the tortillas. So these are the ingredients for the salsa, the roasted tomato salsa. So I'm not using as much ingredients as last time. I'm just using some tomatoes, onion, a few peppers, some serrano peppers here, garlic, and if I forget anything else, I'll let you know. So I'm making a small amount this time. So Kevin is gonna put this on the grill. Should I brush some oil on it? I should probably go bring the oil. Okay, you put it first and I'll put the oil. If you don't have a grill, you can always do this in the oven at
You could even
400.
do it on the stovetop too.
Yeah, on the stovetop over an open flame, or you can do it at 400 degrees Fahrenheit in your oven for about 10 to 12 minutes. So now I'm gonna make the tortillas for our tacos. So first I'll add some salt. Okay, so I forgot to tell you, I have 4 cups of all-purpose flour here. To that, I'll add 2 teaspoons of salt. And I'll also add 2 teaspoons of baking powder. So just give this a mix. Just incorporate the salt and the baking powder into the flour. And now I'll add 4 tablespoons of lard. So you can use butter, you could use ghee, you could use oil, you could use vegetable shortening. Whatever fat you want to use, you can use it. But lard is traditionally used for tortillas. So all you do now is you work the lard into the flour. So this exact recipe is already on my last Taco Tuesday video, so you can go check that out. Okay, so now that the lard is incorporated into the flour, just make a well in the center, just like you make roti or, any types of dough. And then add some hot water. So the hot water actually helps the dough to absorb more liquid, and it also helps to keep it soft. And it also reduces the time that the dough soaks. So instead of having it sit for about 15 to 20 minutes, this dough is just gonna sit for about 5 minutes. So I can literally just knead this dough right before I'm ready to eat my tacos, or right before I make my tortillas. You don't have to have it sitting for a long time. So for 4 cups of flour, I usually need about 1 3/4 cups of water. So I actually made this a few times already, and I measured out the water each time, and it always hit the 1 3/4 mark. So that is the amount that I need for where I live here. Of course, if you live somewhere colder, you might need more water because the air is dry. If you live somewhere warmer, then you'll need less. So you want a nice soft and pliable dough. Not as soft as a similar to sada roti, because tortillas are basically sada roti with a little bit of fat in it. So if you notice, the dough turned out a little bit too sticky. So just as I told you all, the humidity really matters. Last time I made tortillas and I actually measured out the recipe, it was really cold in the apartment. This time it's hotter, so I didn't need that much liquid that I measured last time. So the last 2 times I made it, it took 1 3/4 cups of hot water. This time it took just about 1.5 cups. So sometimes it's easier if you just put it on your work surface instead of kneading in a bowl. It's easier this way. I just think kneading dough is so therapeutic. I just love doing it. Sometimes I just make bread for Kevin just because I just want to knead some dough. So my dough is ready here, and this is just gonna sit for about 5 minutes. And then I'll come back and I'll make my little loyas for the tortillas. So as you can tell, they're roasting nicely. You'll see some of those charred bits. Look at the tomatoes, how it's bubbling. So we're just gonna take all the peppers off because they look ready. See, they have some charring going on there. And it's soft and nice, right? Yeah, you don't want it to be too charred. Even the tomatoes look ready. So it's just the garlic and the onion that have to... Ooh, see how juicy the tomatoes are? Right, and the peppers. I've made the mini loyas for the tortillas, and I've covered them with a damp paper towel because they dry out really quickly, so you want to always have it covered. So as I said, with the hot water, once you use that, you don't need to let this sit for too long. So I just formed these and I let it sit for just about 2 minutes. And once you press it down, see how it's slowly coming back up and the indentation stays right there. If you press it and it pops right back out, then it's not ready yet. So what the hot water does, it helps the gluten to relax. So it reduces the time that the dough sits. So you actually don't need to let it sit or soak for too long. So I'll just dust a little bit of flour onto the surface and then onto my loya, and I'm just gonna press this out. If you didn't want to press it out like this, you can just place it onto the chowki and press out flat with your fingers. So you can do this if you want. Or you can do both, whatever works for you. And then roll. So this size is good here for me, and of course you don't have to keep flipping it and rolling, just you can roll on one side. I'm just accustomed to doing that from making roti, and then you just keep slapping it back and forth to get any excess flour off. Now let me put it on the tower. So I just reheated the pork in the oven, and I also reheated the tortillas. The tortillas reheated for about 15 minutes, and the pork was about what, an hour? Yeah, an hour. So
Wrapped in foil.
yeah, we wrapped it in foil, and you see how nice and juicy it is. Once it comes out the fridge, it won't look juicy, but then when you heat it up in the oven, it is gonna be juicy. So I recommend the oven as opposed to the microwave. So I'm just gonna slice it. Look at that, you can see how juicy it is.